transparency, actionable data, and openness, I guess, to innovation are the three things that I've encountered in the last 3 months.
On the transparency question, clearly that's sometimes the white elephant in the room. When you talk to clients about ad networks and trade desks, sometimes they hear, oh my God, am I going to be ripped off for this? Whereas actually automation should mean data-informed decisions. The media should actually be a lot cheaper because you know exactly who you're targeting. What's your experience of arbitrage? Is it happening as much as we think it is? And the press certainly report that it is. Is it a big problem?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think there is still the legacy of the old ad network model of incredibly high, not so transparent margins, which invoke a lack of trust. I think everybody is making an effort because they have to be more transparent and to demonstrate, yes, I'm going to make money, I'm going to make money, good money, and this is why. And the why is because I'm helping you, Mr. and Mrs. Client, to sell more stuff, or to seriously lift your brand engagement metrics, or the lifetime value of your customers. So I think we need to stop being shy about talking, and I think Henry, it was great to hear him stand up here and say he makes really good money. That's fantastic. We all should be. That's what a healthy ecosystem looks like.
Alisa, what are your views on arbitrage from the publisher side when you see margins being put on news revenue?
Well, I think everybody has to make money, of course. I think that goes without saying. But I think the fact that there's a perception that there is arbitrage going on in the ecosystem is enough of a problem for us all to be concerned about it. I think it erodes the trust from the client's perspective. It also makes fuels some of the trust or lack of trust between the agencies and the publishers. And so I think it's one of those things where it is improving, and I think there's plenty of opportunity to deliver transparency on all sides. The technology from that perspective is getting better and better every day, and I think the more clients and publishers understand about how these economics work, and that skill and expertise to understand all of that is a part of the problem as well, then the opportunity for complete transparency improves all the time. I think everybody's comfortable that money needs to be made along the value chain, but when you look at that horrific diagram of all the players in that value chain, I think that's what gives people pause enough to pause and to have some concerns about where the profit margins are going. It's just not as simple as it used to be, and that's an unfortunate but very realistic perspective we all have to come to terms with. And I think the more and more we see consolidation in both the technology stack and in the the way the different sides of the equation connect with each other, the better that will become. But it is still an issue. It's the white elephant, as you put it, I think, out there that we need to continue working on.
Danny, what's your perspective from GroupM and arbitrage?
Well, from a market perspective, it's certainly something that comes up quite regularly, and it's something that I think the agencies have been hit with the last few years. Pretty easy target. Prior to the agencies launching desks, the ad networks, who were very, very successful here and globally, were arbitraging and making a hell of a lot of money. I think it comes down to your relationship with your client. So from a GroupM perspective, no client can go into a trade desk without opting in. So we have the sometimes difficult conversation, let's say, up front, where we explain the model, how we buy the media, what we do with the media, the fact that we employ all these people, etc., etc. And the client has a very easy decision as to whether or not they want it in there. The challenge is you're effectively changing the contract from agency to principal, which has never happened before. So particularly the procurement guys, the marketing guys get that quite quickly, because the beauty or curse of digital is you know pretty quickly whether it's worked. Right? So if you present a plan with your agency desk attached to it, and they can look at it, whatever metric it is, they know straight away if it's worked or not. The procurement guys can get quite tricky on that, because they look at it as, okay, well, so you've got all our money, and we trust you to invest that money on our behalf in the best place possible, but you now put it in your own product, right? So you can see straight away there's a light on that. So I think as an agency, you've got to be bold, you've got to be honest, you've got to stand behind your product. I mean, Kerry's analogy of the coffee is exactly the same. It's a little bit like the supermarkets and the home brand. You know, when you're a consumer and you go in, And on one shelf there's a Kellogg's product, and on the other there's a home brand product for Woolies, Coles or whatever. And as a consumer you make the choice. Do I want the premium product that I know and love and I've had all my life and I know what I'm going to get the minute I open that box? Or do I go the home brand because I know it's a similar product? I know the supermarket's making a margin on that, but I'm comfortable with that, so in the basket it goes. So as long as you're upfront and transparent with the client, we don't have a problem.
I think the measurement piece is so important because in the old days it was all about reach because that was pretty much all you could measure. But if you said to any CMO now, what's your overall objective? No one would say, I want to waste loads of money reaching everyone on the planet. What they would say is, I want to sell more stuff and I want more bumps on seats. And the better we're able to measure actual business outcomes, the less the conversation will be about how the agency is trading that initial CPM.
And what we see, what we've seen is when clients launch their own desks, which we support, what they find is in an auction environment, your size doesn't matter. Whereas when through a media agency and you're booking media en masse, it absolutely does. So if you're buying all your ads through a number of exchanges, it doesn't matter if you're a $40 million a year advertiser or a $5 million, you're not getting the same benefits of scale that you could do running that desk through your agency.
Teresa?
Yeah, I think it's, for me, I think I've seen that it probably has kind of made for a few difficult conversations, and I think transparency really is the key. So obviously, a publisher or media owners, we bear a lot of the cost base of creating these media properties and getting consumers to our media properties. So of course we're going to be concerned, at what's added along the way and how we're represented to advertisers. So, those conversations, I think we need to get better as an industry at having honest conversation because, as Alisa said, we are all in the business to make money. There's no doubt about that. I think it's just being clear to and educating our advertisers as what makes up that value chain, and what each of that point of the value chain is actually delivering to that advertiser's business. So I don't think we've done a great job of doing that. I think we kind of just sort of sweep it under the carpet a little bit sometimes and go, they're just making a lot of money. Well, no, actually, there's a lot of things that go in the middle, and there's a reason why there's a difference between the start point and the end point. So we've got to get better at making that a transparent conversation.
Liam, I know you're pretty passionate about this subject. What are your views?
Yeah, but I changed my mind a lot on it. So the passion's always there. I think it might be unique to our industry, except maybe funds management might be close, but it's just weird. It's really weird to me that we have a conversation that's around for example, a publisher can make as much money as it wants, or an ad network, and by the way, I ran a network, wasn't that much margin. But a publisher can make as much money as it wants, but if an agency or something that looks like an agency wants to make money on a non-transparent basis, it's a problem.